this game.
37 yards on the return, and you'll see that Purple Raider offense for the very first time, and you'll see T.J. DeShields. What a fantastic job he's done since taking over.
That's right. He's been in several programs, but he's found a home here in Mount Union.
Played his high school football just 7 miles away at West Branch. He'll come out throwing with time, and he'll escape the pocket. Wisely slides, and a nice pickup there on first down.
Yeah, you love when a quarterback diagnoses that there's nothing there and they don't force the issue and simply takes what the defense gives you. And right there, the defense gave him 5 to 6 yards by not having one in that rush lane area.
And how good was he a week ago? 295 yards to 3 touchdown throws. He looked very poised for being on this stage.
At all, you have to have a quarterback who does not bow down to the pressure, but is able to handle those tight moments through the course of a football game.
Cooper in motion, the hand taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
Told you earlier, Matthew Conkle is the man. He's the myth, and he's a living legend. And right there gets a tackle for a loss on one of the better running backs in the Division III in one, Echeverry.
But he has been spectacular all year. Echeverry, 26 touchdowns to lead the nation. So sets up a 3rd and 4. DeShields out of the gun. Ethan Fletcher in motion. Stepping up once again. And a nice alleyway instead of sliding. He takes that hit, absorb it, but it looks like the first down.
Yeah, and heads up playing a part of DeShields because he recognizes if he slides, he will not be close to that first down marker. And by taking on the collision head on, he puts his team once again remaining on the field with this play. And here you go. There's no one there, and they're vacating the middle of the football field. Take that free yardage. That's exactly what he's doing. Protect yourself at the same time as well.
So Mount Union already down the 43-yard line.
And they're questioning the spotting of the football, because it did appear even with his shoulder down that he was a little bit shorter of the line of game.
And of course we have our crew up in the booth that are going to take a look at every single play throughout the game.
And the tail end right here, Anthony, as you see, stops right there as momentum's been stopped. The question becomes, where are they going to spot the football? But you've noticed in 2 runs right now for DeShields is that they're leaving that middle part of the football field over, not respecting the fact that he can run the football, and he's taking advantage of it.
Yeah, anybody who's watched Mount Union this year, they know that the original signal caller, Noah Boudry, he's somebody who certainly can run the football, has been explosive, has had a few games with 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Previous play has changed. The runner was short of the line to gain. Ball will be placed at the 44-yard line, 4th down.
And a lead official, Kenny Johnson, says not so fast on that first down. Upon further review, TJ short of that line to gain, which means 4th down and less than 1.
Yeah, both players sacrificed their body trying to, one, prevent the first down, and DeShields trying to gain it.
Operating out of the pistol, Cooper Jr. in motion. Echeverry up the middle, and he's able to get enough this time for the first down.
And that's the beauty of having a Tyler Echeverry in the backfield, and that you know he is good for at least 1 yard.
He has been spectacular throughout the playoffs, averaging 7.3 yards per carry.
Anytime you reach the teens from a touchdown standpoint, you're in the 20s, that just shows you how prolific of a runner he is.
DeShields looking left. In the flat, it's Matt Anderson, the tight end. He's driven out of bounds.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying the methodical approach Mount Union has taken so far with this offensive game plan, in that they're simply doing what you're always taught to do, is take what the defense gives you. If there's no one going to be in the flats guarding it, have an outlet pass out that way, pick up the positive yards.
2nd and 4, they'll go from the pistol again, with Tyrell Sanders at the bottom of the screen, just wide of the right hash. DeShields off his back foot, throws that in the air. He took a hit and sails that ball over the intended receiver. the tight end, Matt Anderson.
Now, I just gave the Shields credit for not being greedy, taking what the defense gives you. On that play right there, he threw in the coverage. He would have been better served by throwing to Echeverry, but sometimes you got to take chances. I respect that, but he would have been better served just throwing it to outlet with a potential first down on the line.
Another third down. Darnell Williams in the backfield. Check out this formation.
Pistol wing tee.
The Shields hands it off, and that one never had a chance. How stout right now that Blue Jays defense up the middle.
Yeah, they've been this way throughout the entire season, in that they find a way to get the runners down. They do not give up yardage easily, and you like the fact that you saw a sea of white jersey surrounding the purple running back in Echeverry on the carry of that run.
So how about another fourth down? Purple Raiders 1 for 1 on fourth down. This time they need a little more. They need 3 yards. Tyrell Sanders in motion. The handoff. Echeverry, left side. They sealed it off, and it looks like he has enough for another first down.
Echeverry does a nice job of picking up the first down, but to the credit of the John Hopkins Jays, they did not make it easy. He barely got that first down. As you see this outside run, he's following his tackle and then finally says, you know what, let me get up the field so I can pick up some positive yards to get that first down.
So a nice drive developing. A couple fourth down conversions. Certainly has not been easy. Already 4 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Another handoff. Breaking tackles in the open field. Darnell Williams will take it to the house. Purple Raiders on the scoreboard.
And Darnell Williams does an excellent job of breaking shoestring tackles. If you're going to tackle him, you have to come with your full body, but most importantly, you cannot have missed tackles on the second and third level of the defense. And Williams gets the football, gets past one tackler, and then he says, okay, I'm out in open field. Shoestring tackle's not going to work. Now, there's a possible hole right there, but they did call it. But that's a nice job on the part of Darnell Williams of getting to the end zone.
A 31-yard touchdown run. Extra point attempt. Yvonne March is up, and it is good. And an early 7-0 advantage after converting 2 separate fourth downs. We'll take a look at the Blue Jays and their offense for the first time.
Oh yeah, right from the midnight. That's right, been here forever, and we're gonna keep on going. Go Mount! Oh yeah.
Boy, they'd have it no other way here in Alliance this time of year, December. We know what it means when it comes to the Mount Union football program, as it was great to see so many of the fans and the alumni packing the tailgate lot on our way in today.
Yeah, very festive tailgate lot. As I walked through it, they were doing the Cupid Shuffle. I was like, this early in the morning? Okay, we're ready to go.
Well, it had to be a bit demoralizing for that Hopkins defense. You were getting what you thought were some stops, but Mount Union able to press through and convert a couple of fourth downs.
Right, early on in that drive, the Jays, they were making them earn it. And then on that last play that led to the score, missed tackles, led to a chunk play, which is something that the defensive coordinator, B.J. Hill, certainly does not want to give up for the Jays, and he'll instruct his players in that accordance that, hey, guys, we got to do a better job of tackling because we gave that one up right there, and that's not our type of defense that we want to play.
Meanwhile, already 2 instances of that football getting blown right off the tee. So we will get a holder again here. Yvonne March will kick it off.
It's extremely windy.
E.J. Tellerico, P.J. Scales out there to return for Hopkins. Short kick. It'll take a bounce.
Whoa.
Dangerous set of circumstances. Loose ball, but it looks like the Blue Jays were able to pounce on that at the last second.
Yeah, very fortunate right there for the Jays in that that ball took a very fortuitous bounce for them because it almost looked like Mount Union Purple Raiders were going to have opportunity to recover it, As we said earlier, the wind is a factor in the problem. That it knocked the football down, so Tellerico was not in the spot to really make a good judgment on it. A good job on the part of one of his teammates.
Zach Stone
getting on the football.
Was able to get down and make sure to retain possession. Meanwhile, we're going to get our first look at Johns Hopkins and James Ranello, who has been outstanding. Swings it over quickly. So nice and easy opportunity to get started. That's
right.
Cole Crotty.
Yeah, we call those confidence builder passes, and that's something simple, quick out route, pick up some positive yards, and just get your rhythm and timing down with your receivers. For Ranello.
Crotty padding his incredible loaded stat sheet. 133rd career reception, leads all Division III football players. Ranello had some time. He'll take off and he will slide. And it looks like he has enough for the first down.
Once again, we're seeing quarterbacks do the prudent thing, and that is take what the defense is giving you. I can't say that enough. If there's no one there and you have this sea of green in front of you, take those positive yards. And I like what he does at the end. He plays smart by sliding and not absorbing unnecessary contact.
At their own 40, again out of the gun. Ranello sets up, dumps it off. And that's his big tight end, Will Leger. And another first down. So Blue Jays are on the move.
Yes, Leger with the shallow crossing route. You have the defensive second phase of the linebackers all dropping deep. So what do? They say, let's get a shallow crosser with Leger, who does a nice job of catching the football and then picking up positive yards for the first down.
Took 3 Purple Raiders to bring him down. You've seen how big he's been in the playoffs, but especially last week with 6 catches, 139 against Mary Hardin Baylor to get them here into the semis. Handoff, Jeff Schrader plugging along.
Apt description of how he decided to run right there. He was very patient, letting the blocks develop, and as he just churned away, he found himself picking up a positive 4 to 5 yards. And Leger, going back to him, 6'5", and he's every bit of that 240.
Second down and 6 after they got 4 on first down. 3 receivers on the near side. Ranello will look left. He'll duck out of there on the run. And he's got more green to work with. Big gain as he's down to the 21-yard line.
That's just as good as an option run in that, okay, if you're in the pass set and if the defensive end collapses or the corner comes on a blitz and no one's out there on the boundary to contain, that's exactly what you should do in Ranello's part of taking off and picking up those positive yards.
21 yards. So we've seen the quarterbacks finding those holes in the early going. Leger gets set. Ranello. He'll keep it. Look to the end zone. And that one underthrown for E.J. Tellerico. They're looking for a flag. And it'll go down as an incompletion.
Yeah, this puts me in a quandary because as a former defensive back, I love the fact that they did not call it defensive pass interference, but you are taught that you should turn your head around and look for the football, and right there you don't see that. But maybe because of the fact that the receiver was jumping back into the defensive back is why they did not call that as a defensive pass interference.
Boy, those can be so difficult to try to litigate.
Let them play.
And that is exactly what they did. Second down and 10, Ranello. Step it up. Over the middle. Caught. Again, Cole Crotty.
Yeah, really impressive with what I'm seeing thus far from Johns Hopkins in that they're simply throwing the football where the defenders are not. Real nice scheme taking place. And don't be surprised if you see big number 88 in this red zone area as they try to take advantage of the height factor that he brings to the table. Will Leger.
So 3rd and 2. Very solid drive to kick things off in the semifinal from Hopkins. Crotty in motion. He'll keep it up the middle. Moving those legs. And it looks like he has enough to move the chains once again.
Now, this is something, if you go back to the previous playoff games, that you didn't see a lot of from Johns Hopkins, in that they were not having Ranello run that much. Going into the playoffs, he was injured, actually, and was questionable. But they've decided to let loose and say, hey, semifinals are on stake. Get to that Stag Bowl. We're going to run our quarterback. And so far, they've done a tremendous job.
So 1st and goal. That ball spotted essentially right at the 10. Handoff up the middle. Tripped up. Schrader goes down after a few.
Yeah, you'll take the 3 or 4 yard gain on the part of Schrader, but he's saying to himself, if I can just get a little bit lower on the shoulder pad level, then maybe I'll have more balance to stay up, find myself in the end zone, or at least to the goal line.
Quick moving first quarter under the 6-minute mark already.
Very efficient play we're witnessing right now.
Mount Union came down the field, scored the first touchdown. Blue Jays looking for an answer. Schrader trying to navigate that hole. He's down to about the 1 yard line.
A little bit of window dressing on that straight handoff run. If it works, if it distracts the would-be tacklers from getting in on the play, you'll take it. But basically, you see a jet sweep look, and then Schrader stops on the dime and then turns up and finds himself right at the goal line. Look at that power at the end, dragging 3 to 4 Mount Union defenders as he tries to get to the end zone.
So 3rd and goal. They bunch up around the goal line. Handoff inside. Blue Jays touchdown. Jeff Schrader is in the end zone.
And that is what we call a quintessential drive. It was methodic. It was effective. It was very, very great job on the part of John Hopkins to just make it look seamless going against a very stout defense in Mount Union. You see right here, hey, go where the defenders aren't. There's no one in that gap, run through that gap. Schrader's showing you excellent vision on his part. Find the end zone.
So Hopkins with a much needed answer. The extra point is up and good. Tie things up. 11 plays and 70 yards. What an impressive response by the Blue Jays on the road here in the semifinals for Division III.
Timeout.
We are moving right along in the first quarter. Mount Union will have it next on ESPN. A couple of impressive opening drives for both offenses, with the quarterbacks able to get loose on the run. We are deadlocked, 7 apiece here in Alliance. Boy, Blue Jays have to be feeling real good. You find yourself down 7 against Mount Union on the road, and they calmly answered.
Yes, you answered back, and you did it in a manner of fashion in which you were truly methodical with your offense, and that everything that you were calling was working. Can't really tell you there was a negative play in that drive. That's extremely impressive.
You were taking a look at first-year head coach Dan Wadika, who was excited. I didn't sense any nerves from Coach. Your first year, first semifinal playoff game, you would have never known it.
Yeah, that's the key. Act like you belong here, and I'm pretty sure that's what he's been telling his squad, because they certainly play like that on the offensive side of the ball in that first drive that they had.
Mount Union had a great return to open the game from Darnell Williams. They will not get an opportunity this time around, as that was an incredible kick. J.D. Furman booted it into the end zone. So we talked so much, Gerard, about something would have to give when it came to the running game with that Blue Jays defense, and on that first drive, 46 yards on the ground for Mount Union.
Yeah, so Mount Union's already halfway home in regards to what the Jays are doing on the defensive side to stop the run. And if you're Mount Union, you're going to keep on trying to establish the run, but trying to also throw some passes in there as well. But who knows if the wind will allow that to take place, because it is blowing extremely hard.
Five minutes to go here in the first quarter in Alliance. DeShields uncorking one, and that ball batted down. PJ Pender's got his mitts on it.
Yeah, PJ does a nice job of breaking with the receiver. Now, Mount Union is asking for a PI tail end of this play. Yeah, you can make the argument that he got in his way and he touched it before the ball was there, but again, looks like this officiating crew is going to let them play.
Nick Turner was the intended target. Saw Pender's all-centennial first-teamer. You're going to see a lot of conference first-teamers in this game between these two teams. Low snap, handled, DeShields. Didn't disrupt the timing as it's caught. Tyrell Sanders on the move, breaking tackles. Past midfield, still on his feet out to the 45-yard line.
And Sanders says, I am not an easy target. You're going to have to bring me down with both hands and your shoulder pads and multiple defenders as well. Nothing much here except for a slant route in which he crosses the face of the safety, but here's the beautiful part of it. He starts breaking tackles, and it's going to take that type of effort and energy on the part of Sanders to get the job done, and he certainly did it right there.
30 yards on the completion. And already into Blue Jays territory. DeShields looking to throw. He's going deep, and it is underthrown to Nick Turner.
Was it underthrown or knocked down by the wind? I would say knocked down by the wind because he certainly had the right positioning on the play. You're open, but the wind played a factor in that pass. And this is where, from a coordination standpoint, understanding this, you want the big play, but maybe the arm strength is not there to throw these type of routes. Because as you see on the tail end right here, it just drops. He's wide open. That's a touchdown waiting to happen, but the wind knocked it down.
And we wondered what kind of impact the conditions would have. They were clearing the snow before kickoff. Now the field looks beautiful. That handoff, Echeverry. And there was a nice tackle by Jack Schundalmer, because if he doesn't get him, it could be trouble.
Yeah, if he doesn't get him, Echeverry's going to have number 27 for touchdown, rushing touchdowns on the year. As he turns, following his blocking, makes that move. But that right there is textbook open field tackling on the part of one Jack Schundalmer.
So 3rd down and 3, and the Purple Raiders, they've had the 4th down conversions, but 0 for 2 on 3rd. From the 36-yard line to Shields. Well, threw it behind his man. Jerry Cooper Jr. had to spin out of that one the wrong way.
Yeah, and give credit to Jerry Cooper Jr. because that's a live football because he threw it backwards, not forward. And Mount Union staying aggressive, going for it on 4th down, but they're bringing a new quarterback onto the football field, Anthony, and Noah Boudry.
First time we've seen Boudry today. He had a package last week. We were wondering, Jeff Dart, head coach, a little cagey on how he would use them. Looks like
Mount Union.
They're going to re-examine things as Mount Union takes their first time out of the game. And don't go anywhere. Pivotal 4th down coming up next for the Purple Raiders. You see wind certainly picking up. You wonder how that's going to factor into the decision-making. Mount Union just taking time out before a pretty big 4th down. They've already converted 2 of these.
Right, and they have their what we call running quarterback in Noah Boudry, so that gives you multiple options, and it's going to force the defense to think for the John Hopkins Jays.
Boudry, he'll keep it and now unload it. Wide open for Sean Thomas. And that's another huge 4th down conversion for Mount Union today.
Excellent play call, excellent execution. You misdirect, sell to go in one direction, and you come back the other way. And Boudry with that running option makes the defensive end think, but no, I'm not going to run. I'm going to pass the football to my running back, Sean Thomas, and Thomas does the rest by picking up that 1st down.
Yeah, 25 yards, a huge chunk when they needed it. So the timeout certainly worked out as TJ DeShields now back on the field at quarterback. He'll hand it off. Echeverry, big hole! And he's into the end zone. That ball did come loose. The signal for the side judge is it is a touchdown.
Yeah, he certainly crossed
on the field, a touchdown.
He certainly crossed the goal line before it came out of his hand. I believe the ground caused a fumble as well. Once again, Echeverry showing you why he's so special, Anthony. has the ability to run through the tackles, has the ability to run outside, and right there was just simply put excellent blocking. But right here, running through tackles and gets to the touchdown as you see the ball comes out once he hits the ground.
27th touchdown. Already led the nation.
Knee down, but he looked like it was good to me right there.
Here comes the extra point attempt.
Oh.
And he puts that right through the uprights. Yvonne Merrick gives the Purple Raiders a 14-7 lead.
Yeah, coming into the game on the season, 198 carries, 1,448 yards. He had 26 now, 27 touchdowns, and he's only going to add to that total. A very special runner. He's the guy. He's the catalyst. He just gets things going. Most outstanding offensive backs, and you see why. Whenever you can say for your career you've rushed touchdowns 40 times, that speaks volumes. And then when you think about his leadership as a senior and what he's doing for this football team, is so impressive. Very special runner that you have in Tyler Etcheverry.
And you love development. Coaches love talking about that, watching a kid mature over time. He had just 6 carries his first year. Then he had 24 the next, 94 last year, 123 this year, and so on. So you can see that is the real type of evolution in his game and his ability to handle the workload.
Yeah, certainly. And when he plays the game, what you see on tape is a guy who makes the first tackler miss, who doesn't go down with initial contact and continues to move up the field, running north and south. And he has the ability to go east and west and get outside because that speed factor kicks in. So he's a complete back on this level.
Mount Union already 67 yards on the ground, but the timely conversions, they have been the difference so far today. Blue Jays defense, they
don't do this, not characteristic of them whatsoever.
Well, and on third down, they've been great. It's fourth down that has really hurt them. Short kick again. PJ Scales comes up, and it's a nice starting position here on their second drive of the day as he gets out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and both these teams may want to strongly consider employing squib kicks because you're not going to do anything if you elevate this ball into the air. The wind is blowing too hard. So if you squib it, at least gives you a chance to get an opportunity to at least drive down the football field. But kicking in the air, nothing's going to turn out positive there because the wind is simply put driving too hard.
2:44 to go here in the opening quarter from Alliance. The D3 semifinals. Schrader came in motion. He'll get set. Ranello looking near side. Incomplete to Robbie Enright.
Now in the case of the Jays, they have the wind at their back, so they are in a position to where they can take the vertical shots and try to pass the ball past the intermediate to deep zone and not have to rely on shorter passes. But right there, the ball just sailed away from Ranello.
Throwing again on second down. He'll plant, and dangerous throw over the middle of the field to his big tight end. Incomplete to Will Leger.
And if I were a consultant, if you will, for Johns Hopkins, I'd say no need to hurry and answer. Go back to being methodical, slow it down. Right now it seems like they're wanting a chunk play and trying to force the issue. There's a lot of time left in this football game. It's not the fourth quarter, so why not go back to that approach that got you down the football field when the first time you drove down the field?
One of the better third down defenses this year in their conference, the OAC. Mount Union looking for the sack. Caleb Brown sends him down. The sack leader for the Purple Raiders gets his 12th of the year.
And this is where Caleb Brown and company get you in trouble. On predictable downs where you know they have to pass football, they bring the heat. And right there, Caleb shows you that he's not a fire extinguisher. He is a lightning rod. But again, I can't say enough. If you're Johns Hopkins Jays, go back to being methodical. No need to force the issue on that drive. That's exactly what they did. And ultimately, it paid off for Mount Union's defense and that they came up and Caleb Brown's delivered with that sack.
So a forgettable series for the Blue Jays offense. Nothing like we saw in their opening sequence. Low snap. Lucky to get that ball off. It actually takes a fortuitous bounce all the way down to the 30. That could have been a disaster for Johns Hopkins. Now, one of the interesting tidbits, both coaches today, very proud alumni from their schools, representing, you know, these terrific, not only football programs, but obviously academic institutions.
Right, and I always feel that when you're dealing with coaches who've been at the institution as a player or graduated, that there's an extra level of pride in that, and that you get even more out of them and the desire to have the program be successful, because simply put, your reputation and the program's reputation is always on the line.
Mount Union, DeShields unloading it the last second, and it'll be enough for another first down. Thinking on the fly works out this time. And Darnell Williams has enough to move the chains.
Yeah, utilizing a speedy back in Williams and that. There are not many people on the football field that can run with him. So what do? You put an issue in where you have the Shields moving about out of the pocket, off schedule, and then dumped into a would-be speedy running back / receiver in Williams.
At the 43, low snap. DeShields puts it down the sidelines. Skying up to make the grab. Tyrell Sanders.
And that was an excellent pass play on the part of the Shields, in that he hit his receiver Sanders right on the money for the 36-yard catch. And right there, high point. That's textbook of how you get the job done when you're in a fade stop route.
Luka Lutzel had the coverage. He looked like he was on
He was in position, but that's the hardest route to cover, that fade stop.
Empty backfield out of the shotgun. Echeverry in motion. He'll take it, but swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Oliver Craddock showed you why he has a 3.8 grade point average, because he read that diagnosis and got the job done. Very heads-up, smart player, and an excellent open field tackle on his part to bring down Echeverry.
Craddock, his teammate Cole Peters, came into this game with identical tackle numbers on the year, 189. So the competition within the team, both same GPA.
As well.
At 3.81, not bad. DeShields staying on his feet, some missed tackles. He took a shot at the end of that run.
He certainly did, but he did an excellent job of being a magician, because everyone in the stadium thought Echeverry had the football, but no, DeShields kept it, showing you his ability to run as an option quarterback. Not many yards were picked up, but very impressive handling of the football.
Well, that will do it for an entertaining back and forth first quarter, where Mount Union scored first, the Blue Jays answered, and the Purple Raiders have seized control. They're up 7. They have the football. We'll switch sides. We'll see you after this second quarter coming up from Alliance. The NCAA football championships continue with a D3 Championship Sunday, January 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. For more info, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. As Nick Turner cannot hang on to that dart thrown by TJ DeShields.
Yeah, Nick Turner running the slant route from the Z position. And now you have a spot where, for the Jays, you're happy that you are going to force the field goal, because you do not want to be in a spot against that Mount Union defense in which you're down by 14 potentially.
Purple Raiders had been averaging 17.7 per completion, but unable to come through there. This will be a 36-yard attempt by Yvonne Merrick. 9 of 13 on the season. The hold was good, and he converts.
With the wind to his back.
Mount Union. Damage limited a bit there by that Blue Jay defense, coming up with that third down incompletion, but 17-7 now our score.
Yeah, and what I did not like in that last series on offense for the Johns Hopkins Jays is that I felt they were impatient, Anthony. I felt they tried to get it all back on several plays to open up that drive, and simply put, go back to being methodical. There is a lot of time left in this football game.
And coming up later on, a marvelous semifinal. Two more teams trying to punch their bid to the title game in Houston in January. Both teams, Susquehanna, North Central, quarterback play has been terrific for those programs.
It certainly has, and North Central, in my opinion, is doing a great job of trying to become the new Mount Union, and much success they've had of late. Look at that, 5 straight Stag Bowl appearances. That's domination.
But back here, Mount Union trying to get back. They've built an early 10-point lead. And the Blue Jays will need another response big time now.
Yeah, now they'll have to adjust to having to win against them as opposed to at their backs.
Kickoff is handled. Tellerico, and he is dropped. Great special teams tackle. Ethan Pitlack. And some poor field position for the Blue Jays on the next drive. Meanwhile, Mount Union, one of a select few. How select? About one of only 5 programs in all of college football at every level to have a 0 in that losing column.
And it takes so much effort, so much conviction, and so much dedication to pull that feat out. I don't care what the level is, so very impressive that once again they find themselves unbeaten. As well as North Central.
Yeah, another team here in D3. Big pass down the middle of the field. Cole Crowley went up to catch it, but it looks like that ball knocked away at the last second.
And Cole Crowley did something that's uncharacteristic of Cole Crowley in that he dropped the football. Now the Jays are saying we're still going to be aggressive with the passing. And as Cole comes down right there, great job on the part of the defensive back of putting his hands in there, and that being John Rowland, the safety for Mount Union. Excellent job of playing the ball once it was in the hands of the receiver.
Boy, Blue Jays would have loved to have one of those deep connections. They really struggled.
Yeah, certainly being aggressive from the passing standpoint.
That prior series, 3 incompletions, 2nd and 10. This throw inside is caught and right up the middle, and a first down after the catch.
Yeah, Robbie Enright does a nice job of, one, catching the ball, but then being very aggressive with the defender and saying, get off me, you're not going to bring me down. So you see right here, it gives him the push away and goes up the football field. And he's the guy who does the dirty work for this Jays football team, and that he's an excellent blocker, but he can also catch as well.
He's had a number of big 3rd down conversions for the Blue Jays this year. That one on 2nd for 13 yards. Decent run on 1st down that time by Andrew Rich.
Yeah, anytime you're picking up 6 to 7 yards on the carry, that's against Mount Union, you're certainly doing a good job.
Now, he actually started against Mount Union back in the 2021 playoffs. Had 7 runs in that game for 30 yards. So certainly familiar with this stage. Another handoff. Rich, very patient. And he stays on his feet, makes a move. He's past midfield, an incredible run.
Now, I was ready to criticize Rich and say, get up the field, young man, get up the football field. But to his credit, his patience pays off in a major way, because he stopped right there, and I'm saying go up the field. But he says, no, I got more in me. Then he goes to the side and finds himself getting up the football field for a really nice gain for John Hopkins Jays.
22 yards on a play that looked like it might have been doomed at the line of scrimmage. They'll stay on the ground in another 7 yards. Right now, they may have found something plugging along with that running game. Rich has been terrific so far.
Yes, he has. At this point, average 6 to 7 yards a carry. That's very impressive.
And they'll keep it on the ground this time. Mount Union is there. Rossi Moore puts an end to that.
Yeah, sometimes you can go to the well too much, and this might be one of those spots where he simply needs to have someone come in and relieve him because he's done so much so far in this drive. But he's fired up and he's ready to go. And Rossi Moore will call that name a lot today because he is one of the premier defenders in Division III football. Just simply put, makes plays all over the football field.
35.5 sacks in his Mount Union career. That's 2nd in program history. And of course, no surprise, another All-American honor. So 3rd and 3. And Ranello will take it all the way for the first down.
And what do we see on this drive opposed to the previous drive? They're back to doing what? Short, intermediate, mixing in with some vertical routes as well. And here Ranello says, okay, no one's there. I'm going to pick a gap, go through the B, and pick up more positive yards. Keep the sticks in the drive, keep the sticks moving and the drive alive.
So nice bounce back drive, at least so far, as Ranello already 28 yards on the ground, 5.6 yards per attempt. And Schrader squirts through, and another good first down.
Yeah, both these offensive lines are just dominating at the point of attack. And right there you have a situation where the Jays are just surging forward. And from a running back standpoint, that's a premium. You have multiple holes in which you can choose to run through to pick up positive yards.
Brings up 2nd and 6. Ranello, and he will run out of there. And it looks like he has enough for another first down. He got away from some danger right when he initially dropped back and made it into a positive.
Yeah, and what you appreciate is that alarm clock that we talk about in the pocket that you have to have, he has it. He senses that, hey, it's nothing there. They're starting to collapse on me. So what do? I move forward. I do not force the issue by throwing into coverage. Excellent read on his part and nice gain as well.
Looked like Moore overran him as he pinned his ears back. Meanwhile, both teams 8 first downs. Ranello will look to throw. Out in the middle of the field, he missed his target. Will Leger had an opening there, but
he's slow to get up as well.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Ranello.
Yeah, they might want to call a timeout or take him off the field because he looks like he is not feeling too well after the hit he sustained throwing that football. But he says, I'm in, I'm good, I'm ready to go. Showing toughness right here, Ranello. They'll call him Cowboy for no reason. Tough guy.
And they'll throw once again. Swings it over to Schrader. And he is brought down by a gaggle of Purple Raiders.
And the impressive thing is they were not able to take him to the ground. So keep handing the football to Schrader because obviously they're having a hard time being physical with him, and he's the one ushering in the physicality. See right here, out the flats, missed tackle on the part of Tony Cook, but then the company comes along with him to bring him down, but they couldn't get him down. Too strong of a runner. It's a good sign for Schrader.
So 3rd and 5. From the 22-yard line. He'll keep it, and he is upended early. He did not get enough for the first down.
Yeah, you like the quick hitting runs, but again, the quarterback is sustained some physicality. You might want to consider employing your running backs in this situation. Let them sustain those blows that the defense is certainly given from a very physical Mountain Union defensive front.
Andrew Rich will come back onto the football field. Remember, he kind of got things going on this drive. They could use him here on 4th and 2. Well, circle this play, as this is a big one early on. 17 for 30 on the season, the Blue Jays on 4th down. And they will throw. Double clutch into the end zone, swatted away. The coverage was there.
And a couple things about this play that didn't work for John Hopkins, the Jays. One, ball placement. You have to have it on the outside. If you're going to throw a corner route, you cannot throw it inside, because if you throw it on the inside, that puts the DB in a better position to receive the ball.
Zach Liebler, the freshman corner, was in coverage. No dice on the 4th down. Purple Raiders get their stop. Now these two teams have hooked up before with a lot on the line in the semis back in 2018. Johns Hopkins had a great battle with Mount Union that came down to the 4th quarter. The huge first down run for the Purple Raiders, Tyler Echeverry, coming out of the break with a head of steam.
And Tyler's showing you he can beat you in the inside, and he can certainly get outside if you don't have leverage there and take advantage of your defense. You have to make sure when you're going against him that you keep your leverage and your responsibilities from a lineman assignment standpoint, because he's the type of back that can certainly break through that leverage and pick up positive yards.
21 yards. A nice pickup on first down. DeShields will launch one on the near side. Turning to try to spot that ball was Tyrell Sanders, but it is incomplete. So we referenced that game between these two teams in 2018 right here in Alliance, and it was a good one. Purple Raiders held on for a 28-20 win. It also marked the final game that would be coached by the legendary Blue Jays coach Jim Margrath, who has his fingerprints all over this program.
Exactly, and throughout the NFL and the college landscape as well.
Echeverry, a nice run again. Boy, he has been awfully tough to stop. He seems like he is getting stronger as the game wears on.
All right, what you're seeing is simply put, straight dive up the middle, no one there in the right gaps, and they're going to take advantage of that all day long. And this is very uncharacteristic of the Jays defense in that they're normally sound from their gap instructions of their rush lanes and their run lanes to stop it. But again, Echeverry is not one of the best backs for no reason. He's putting it on full display right now why he's so special.
Another 21 on the play. This time, Blue Jays defense is there.
And they say enough is enough. And that's more characteristic of what you see from them with Will Seibert on the tackle.
Boy, Seibert had a big play last week, sealing the victory with a sack in the final 2 minutes in that showdown against Mary Hardin Baylor.
It's going to take that type of effort. Because right now, Mount Union's starting to get real comfortable running the football.
Second down and 12. DeShields dumps it off. Echeverry. And this time, he has nowhere to go. He's driven out of bounds near the 50-yard line. Carter Hogue was there.
Yeah, Hogue does a nice job of rallying to the play, because Echeverry is excellent open field for making defenders miss. But right here, he picks a side and then runs him down, tracks him, and makes the tackle for a minimal gain.
Mount Union yet to connect on a third down play. 0 for 4 so far today. Of course, if you've been watching, you've seen it's been a very different story on fourth down, where they have come through. But 3rd and 11. Empty backfield. DeShields. Blue Jays sent 4. And that throw incomplete to Jerry Cooper Jr. down near the 25-yard line.
Yeah, the defense needed a hole for the Jays, and they certainly did that. You have a spot where DeShields is saying, you know, let's try this skinny post area and challenge these safeties. But to their credit, the ball was errant, and on top of that, they were in excellent position to make a play on the ball as well. So that was a nice stop on 3rd down on the part of the Jays defense.
So we will see Michael Franklin, the junior at Sandusky High School, his first punt of the day. And that ball will be fair caught at the 15-yard line. So the Blue Jays get their stop, but the field is flipped, and they'll get the ball next, down 10. Boy, it was great catching up with so many within the Johns Hopkins program this week. They could not speak highly enough of the coaching legend, Jim Margrath, who, when we say has his fingerprints over this Johns Hopkins football program, each and every player, they allude to it, because he was sensational here as the head coach. The last game he ever coached was actually here at Karis Field in that semifinal loss in 2018.
All right, and whenever you speak with coaches and they're still quoting the man, that just tells you the level of impact that he's having still to this very day on the program.
Yeah, Margrath passing away 3 weeks later with a heart attack. But the way they still talk about him, meanwhile, that ball is loose. Ranello lost the football. And this is the second time today we've seen him struggle to get up off the turf.
Right, we gave Ranello credit earlier for when that timer goes off in his head of getting rid of the football. That time he held on a bit too long, and you have to get rid of it. Because again, you're facing one of the better defenses in Division III, and right there you just can't be a statue. You have to move out of that pocket because it was collapsing.
Boy, it's almost a miracle they were able to hold onto the football. And now they got to snap it from the 5-yard line. Ranello stepping up. He is on the move, and this time he'll just run it. Unfortunately, didn't take a huge hit this time.
No, he didn't, and he had some blocking down the field. But one of the things that you're seeing, Anthony, is that you have a situation where Ranello needs more short and intermediate routes mixed in because he's looking at the deep routes and he just simply does not have the time. As you see, defense coordinator there early for Mount Union.
One of the many alums coaching for the Purple Raiders. Tough spot here, 3rd and 10.
Check that as Ely.
That ball at the 13-yard line. And it's a design run all the way, trying to get some open space, and actually
close.
A nice go at it, but it looks like he is marked just shy of that first down.
Yeah, and they're throwing everything out there, and I love the fact that he's willing to sacrifice his body in Ranello. But at some point, we need to integrate more guys into this rushing attack and not just utilizing him in the run, because I don't know if he can sustain the level of physicality that he's being subjected to at this point. And they're going for it? Wow.
Now they're taking a long look at it right now. As you can see, great shot there, which is really right on that first down marker.
First charge, timeout.
So you see what the distance is and what they would need to get. Boy, that would be a monumental decision this early in the game, still in the first half, but down 10, decision time apparently. So the Blue Jays used a timeout. They're looking at 4th and 1. The problem is they're at their own 22-yard line. But they are setting the offense onto the football field. Gerard, pretty big play with 3:24 to go in the first half.
Yeah, this must be their bread and butter and mortgage play, because for them to go for this right now is incredible.
Meanwhile, Purple Raiders had too many guys on the field, and now they will be forced to call timeout. They were sent scrambling.
Mount Union.
Well, it's a blessing in disguise for them in this reason.
Timeout.
You have a situation now, you see what they're going to do from a formation standpoint, so that actually helps your cause, even though you don't want the inefficiency of wasting the timeout because you have too many guys on the field.
Yeah, did Mount Union just assume that there was no way they'd be going for it, and so they were caught misaligned?
Yeah, probably thinking punt team, get ready to go out there, and when you have a punt return team right out there, generally speaking, you have a bunch of defensive players. As you see, Ely. He sees it. He's trying to tell his guys, the defense coordinator for Mountain Union, we need to get guys off the field. We need to go, because he's probably thinking the punt return unit is not going to happen. So caught off guard there, and you hate to give up that timeout, but again, don't keep him in your pocket. And now you have Chase Alley, who's their punter. You look for him to be in the game. If he's out there, then chances are they're going to punt.
Yeah, he's going through the motions as if he's...
But he's not punting.
About to send one. Maybe that was part of the deception.
That was exactly. These guys are smart.
We were sitting here staring at their punter.
Yeah, that was nice trickery, if you will. Using the punter to pretend like he's going to punt, but he really did not.
Well, here it is, 4th and 1. They're 17-31 on the year in 4th. They'll snap it. Inside handoff. It's bottled up, but the pile moved. That could be right on the line.
Late surge there may help their cause, but obviously comes down to the spotting of the football. First down.
Referee Kenny Johnson gave the signal, and Mount Union cannot believe it.
That's the new meaning of living dangerously. Taking that chance with that field position on the line. Very impressive, but very dangerous at the same time.
They review each and every one of those plays in the booth. They said play on. So they convert after a series of timeouts and some confusion. And the Shields will throw over the middle. Has Crotty. And just like that, they're out to the 44-yard line.
That was a work of art right there, because Crotty does what? He goes by the defenders, stops himself in the zone area where there are no defenders to be found. His quarterback has enough time in Ranello to throw a strike. The pocket is clean. Excellent offensive execution on the part of the Jays right there.
So we've seen Ranello wobbling, getting up slowly, and just like that, 21 yards on the completion. He'll look to throw again to Crotty, and just was able to get that right hand on the football, but that was not enough.
And Crotty was open, but you would want to take right there what the defense is giving you in Ranello. I appreciate the aggressiveness, so he's open. But again, you're working against a major win. And in order to have more accuracy, guess what you have to do? You have to throw a lower trajectory football, and that puts it in harm's way because the defender can easily make a play on the ball.
Well, you can see, though, the chemistry between Ranello and Crotty. Crotty missed those first 4 games of the season. After that, he has been terrific. Design run. And another 7 yards, which will make third down much more manageable as we get down to the 2-minute timeout.
That's a 2-minute timeout.
So we will pause there, but another huge attempt for conversion when we return. Well, we are watching the semifinals right now. It all will culminate on January 5th for the D3 Football Championship, the Stag Bowl, heading back to Texas for the first time since 2019. This time, though, in Houston in prime time. Big third down, and it is enough for the Blue Jays' first down. Jeff Schrader has it.
Yeah, that's been there all game for the Jays, in that the rushing attack has really not been stopped much on the part of Mount Union, so they can continue to utilize that, but obviously time is of essence as they're trying to score before the half.
Still 2 timeouts for the Blue Jays. Purple Raiders have 1 remaining. 1:45 clock is ticking. 1st and 10. Ranello dumps it off over the middle. Tellerico, and another first down past the 30-yard line.
Wise decision on the part of Ranello. You have an underneath guy there, no one in the area. Pick up those 10 to 15 yards and continue to move those sticks.
Boy, second quarter has been the dominant quarter all year for the Blue Jays. 136 points. They've only given up 40. Looking to add more. Just does get rid of it. Schrader catches it in traffic, and he's tackled forward near the first down marker.
Running with conviction and passion and power is one Schrader. Good call, too. Take advantage of the aggressiveness of the defensive front of Mount Union, but they do read it to their credit. But again, Schrader is just too tough of a runner to bring down with one would-be tackler.
Boy, what a turn of events. Think of how doomed this drive was way back in their own territory when they converted the 4th down. Schrader again, up the middle.
Nice push on the part of the offensive line as these guys are just dominated in trenches. And you love the fact that Schrader has this running style, Anthony, where he just shuffles his feet, but at the same time as he's shuffling, he's moving forward. And then once he sees a hole, he lowers his head and picks up more positive yards. But this does not happen without this offensive line dominating up front.
Clock continuing to tick. We're at 30 seconds. Ranello with a hand draped over him, caught. It's Cole Crotty. How do you get rid of that football? There is a flag on the play.
And more than likely a horse collar tackle or that's also in the area of holding.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
They flag Michael Nowusu, and that one is costly.
As you see, Nowusu's trying to cut off on the backside, and that's just, I mean, he throws Rozzy Moore down to the ground, so that's why you get the call, but he was pretty dominant on there. It wasn't like Rozzy was going to have impact on that play, so you wonder about that call.
And Caleb Brown was so close to getting to Ranello there. As you can see, Dan Wadaka exchanging words with the official, which sends it back to 2nd and 15 with 15 to go on the clock. In the middle of that zone, what a catch, Tellerico!
That's what you call wanting it more than the defenders, because Tellerico did a great job of going through multiple defenders on the part of Mount Union as he came down with that football. You see right here as he's dropping back, Ranello throws it up, wishing on a prayer, and the prayer is answered. As you see multiple defensive backs, Tony Cook, John Rowland, all beat on this play as he threads the needle right there, getting between two defenders.
There's no option for a 10-second runoff for injured player.
See again, great job of high pointing and coming down with the football.
Yeah, meanwhile, John Rowland, who was in coverage, is getting worked on right now. So he's the Purple Raider who is on the field. The senior out of Livonia, Michigan, played his high school football at Northville. One of the vocal leaders in that secondary.
Certainly. He is that, and generally speaking, Anthony, you would tell your quarterback, don't throw into double coverage, but right there, it was a successful attempt at throwing it to double coverage.
So he's able to walk off the field
12 seconds, please.
under his own power. The clock goes up to 12. So interesting scenario here because Hopkins does have two timeouts. We'll make that one as they just decided to use one. 12 seconds. How many plays do you think they have down here?
Well, if they keep it on the sidelines, you say 2, but if it's in the middle of the football field, more than likely 1. And that's where it becomes very interesting, because if you're Mount Union and Coach Ely, the defensive coordinator for Mount Union, you're saying, okay, guys, obviously we got to play in the end zone area. We can't give up anything, but be conscientious of something coming underneath with them trying to run their way into the end zone.
Well, this is very significant sequence in this game, as a score here with the opportunity to get the ball back to start the second half could totally change the dynamic of this football game.
Yeah, in this area, you're looking at horizontal routes more so than vertical, because you're only working with 20 yards. So the key thing on defense is if something crosses your face or something's behind you, there's more than likely going to be something in front of you as well.
Ranello on the drive, 4 of 5. He has 59 yards. And we're looking at 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. 3 receivers on the far side. Ranello has Schrader next to him. He throws, middle of the field. It's caught! Cole Crotty in the end zone!
Whoa! We told you earlier, they can make all the throws. Ranello has a skill set that is high. When he has a clean pocket, he's one of the best in the business. And right here, he checks, comes across the middle, tight window, and his clutch receiver, Cole Crotty, comes down with the football. That has to be encouraging going into the half.
How did he get that ball past Brandon Janssens, threading the needle?
He threaded the needle and sewed it up, Anthony.
That was amazing, but they botched the extra point attempt. The footing was all out of sorts.
Now that's a momentum killer. You have a positive play like that touchdown, and then you come back and allow the extra point not to go through, and you know that's going to be big as this game goes on. You have 9 seconds left on the clock, but right here, penetration is key to everything, and you have to shore up your blocking for the Jays. You cannot let guys go. And then on top of that, he hesitates and stumbles. The footing and timing is off, so that right there is a recipe for disaster for extra point conversion. You have to have your timing down, and it was completely off. Whenever you see a kicker stumble, you know there's going to be problems and issues, because there's going to be someone, I guarantee, rushing from the outside or up the middle to try to block it.
Brad Paxton was the Centennial Rookie of the Year. His 4th missed extra point, though. And Cole Crotty has been sensational all year, the sophomore out of Hermosa Beach, California. And you'd think a guy like him, loving the sunshine and the beaches of the West Coast, he's playing just fine in the Midwest with inclement weather.
He certainly is. And I had a chance to walk the football field, and I wanted to check him out. And he's a legit 6'1", and you see right here as he climbs the ladder and comes down with the football, making an excellent play for his football team and keeping them in this game. That's right, kiss the sky, because you're balling.
was already at 43 yards. That has been the big connection when they've needed it the most. The only setback after that 13-play touchdown drive, the missed extra point. Squib kick, you called it, Gerard, earlier. It is recovered by Mount Union, and still 7 seconds to go here in the half.
And your Mount Union, Hail Mary with the win. Yeah, it's a possibility, actually, because you have the win with you. So what normally would be, if your arm strength can get you only 40 to 50 yards of throwing, add another 10 to 20 to that. So you're looking at like a 70-yard pass here.
They have enough time to maybe advance the ball first for a quick out?
They got one timeout, so sure.
Doesn't even have to be an out.
Yeah.
They'll take it from the pistol, and they'll hand the ball off.
Yeah, well, that is right there.
There to make the tackle, Oliver Craddock. And we have ourselves a great semifinal second half coming up as the Purple Raiders hold on to a 17-13 lead. The Blue Jays will get it back to start the second half. You can't possibly go anywhere. The D3 semifinals. We have a big halftime show coming up. Stick around. It's the D3 college football semifinals. Mount Union up 17-13 over Johns Hopkins as we welcome you back to our halftime show here in Alliance, where things are really cooking here in the first half. It all started with the Purple Raiders.
That's right, Darnell Williams breaking tackles and finding himself in the end zone for the score in the first quarter.
Yeah, both teams tit for tat on the opening drives as Jeff Schroeder got into the end zone. Had a lot to dance about early.
He certainly did. And then Mr. Echeverry said, let me get in on the action as well, as he finds pay dirt in scoring a touchdown, his 27th on the season.
All-American had 27 yards on the ground. And this was the pivotal 4th down way in their own territory, and they converted.
That's right, Johns Hopkins living dangerously, but right here might be the play of the game so far, because you're climbing the ladder, Cole Crotty, and you're coming down with the football as Ranello gives you a pass that's accurate and on point for you to come down with in the first place.
Boy, that was fantastic from Crotty, and you look, fairly even numbers. The one discrepancy as the Blue Jays 4-7 on 3rd down. Mount Union 0 for 5, but they've made up for it on 4th down, converting 3 for 3.
Yeah, they certainly have. And as Johns Hopkins takes the football field, getting ready to try to attempt to receive this football, momentum is somewhat on their side. And I say somewhat, Anthony, because you did botch that extra point attempt, and you have to imagine that that's going to come to factor in as this game goes on.
Yeah, pretty well-flowing game. Just one combined penalty accepted so far today. You wonder how things are going to shake out here in the second half, where the Blue Jays are about to receive the football. We talk about momentum in football. Some people, Gerard, don't really believe in it, but that touchdown right before the half, they didn't convert the extra point. But the Blue Jays got to feel as good as you can on the road in the semifinal in this place.
Yeah, certainly, because at some point this game was getting away from Johns Hopkins, in that you thought the Purple Raiders are going to run away with it, but they found themselves settling down and are back in this football game. But you certainly want that extra point. But scoring that touchdown certainly helped the cause.
Yvonne Merrick is going to send it away. Again, another situation where because of the winds down there on the field, there is a holder, Tony Cook. So that one received at the 26-yard line. The PJ Scales advances it to about the 35, and that's where the Blue Jays will take over their first possession here in the second half coming up.
Yeah, in the first half, Johns Hopkins had a lot of success when they were taking the methodical approach, not looking for the shots, but simply giving you a nice mixture of run and pass with intermediate and short routes, along with the vertical passing game.
As you see, the touchdowns with the punt and the turnover on down sandwiched in the middle of that. Ranello, so far today, has been pretty solid. A little delay on the handoff there up the middle to Schroeder, A rugged carry for just a few yards.
Yeah, Schroeder and Ranello fighting over who's going to keep the football on that play, and that threw off the timing, but they were still able to pick up positive yards on the play, which is impressive in its own right.
You know, it's a running back by committee approach. That's something that head coach Dan Wadika told us this week. And at times we've seen Andrew Rich. Right now on the field, Jeff Schroeder. Ranello throwing near side. Will Leger with room to run after the catch. Barreling his way past the 30-yard line.
Will Leger has been showing up and showing out throughout this playoff series, and once again he gets involved. Nothing fancy about this route, simply I'm going to sit down in the middle of the defense, pick up positive yards after catching it, and showing you that I'm a house and I'm a hard man to bring down.
How do you bring that guy down?
Well, you better bring a committee, that's for sure.
33 yards, an explosive play. The handoff to Schroeder, but that time Marcus Jackson swarms him in the backfield for the loss.
Yeah, that time Schroeder's patient running style did not benefit him, because when you're going from side to side, east to west, you want to turn those shoulder pads up the field, and there was nowhere to turn because of the fact that Mount Union did a nice job of getting penetration with their defensive front right there.
That's Jackson's 12th tackle for loss this season, 2nd and 12. You see, Mount Union's given up 122 yards on the ground, 30 more than they give up traditionally. This throw into the end zone, incomplete. Crotty went up to get it, but it sailed through his arms.
And right there, John Rowland's over the top in a better position than Crotty to catch the football. So on that pass right there for Ranello, it's hard to keep it low in trajectory because more than likely someone in the second level can pick that off. But I'm pretty sure they'll come back to that play because it was temporarily open.
3rd and 12. Schroeder alongside Ranello out of the gun. Ranello looking down the middle. Crotty again, and this time almost a carbon copy.
It was
of
a
the
carbon
touchdown
copy.
before the half. This time incomplete.
Well, it was literally the same play that you saw previously. And again, be aggressive, be aggressive. They like what they see, and right on that play, you had a much better job of Weston Arthur being in a position, but still Crotty got his hands on the football, and now they'll have to settle for the field goal attempt, and they better make sure that they shore up their blocking this time around.
J.P. Furman from 48 yards. Coaches told us with no wind, they thought he was within the range all the way up to 52. This one turning sideways, and it goes through.
Anthony, that could have gone through if it was a 60-yard field goal attempt. Very impressive on his part.
Immediate timeout.
Boy, a huge special teams kick after they had missed the extra point before the half. But the field goal pulls them to within 1. The Blue Jays pulling to within 1 here in the second half. Let's take a look at this field goal from 48 yards.
The distance is certainly there, and again, I'll say it, that was 10 to 15 more yards left on that kick. Excellent job of getting it done and executing.
J.P. Furman.
Coach Wadika excited. Let's go, guys.
So they missed the extra point right before the half. They come back with their longer kicker, Furman, who makes that one, considering the wind as part of it too, which has been a little unpredictable throughout the game.
He made it look easy. Oh. That had all the looks of an onside kick. At this point now, if I'm the special teams coach from Mount Union, I'm saying, watch the kick, because the way in which they approached that was very awkward for Johns Hopkins.
All right, this ball finally able to stay on the tee. And he boots it. Standing there to return, Darnell Williams goes back into his end zone. He'll take it out, catches a block, but a flag is thrown, so Mount Union going to be buried way back on this possession.
Yeah, the assumption is that it's going to be some form of holding on
Return.
Mountain Union.
Illegal block in the back. Number 24. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Or better yet, block in the back. And the timing was thrown off on that, obviously, because when you have a situation where the return man turns his back, that's always going to issue a problem.
Camden Wesley right there.
Right there. Cannot make that block. You're already beaten, just take it, because you just added insult to injury. Now you're putting your offensive unit in a really poor field position.
Well, he talked about how balanced they like to be, that Mount Union offense. 107 yards throwing, 107 on the ground. They will start out the possession on the ground, but that one went nowhere. This right now, the worst starting field position for either team in this game following that penalty. So it is a costly one.
Right, Xavier Newell on the tackle right there for Johns Hopkins.
We're just taking a look at head coach Jeff Dart in his 5th year as head coach. Trying to get back to the championship game for the 2nd time for him. Tyrell Sanders. Nice easy throw and catch there to get them out of the shadows of their own end zone.
Yeah, that's how you take advantage of zone coverage. When they're in zone, you find those areas you want to tell your receiver, sit down where they're not, and give that quarterback a nice target to throw to. And that's exactly what he did for his quarterback, DeShields, and that he just sits down in that zone area and picks up positive yards.
So gave him plenty of breathing room. First down and 10. Echeverry was patient, found a bit of an opening, and it looked like he got 4 or 5 on first down.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot today. It's very nice, patient running style in which he waits for it to develop, allows the blocking to develop, and then when I see the hole, I hit it. That's exactly how you're supposed to run the rock, and he does an extremely great job at it, hence why he has so many touchdowns. One Tyler Echeverry.
Came into the game with 26 to lead the nation, has won so far today. DeShields, he completes it, but it's short of that first down marker. Nick Turner caught it, but Luka Lutzel was there in coverage.
Yeah, what Nick has to do on routes like that, because we call those stick routes, is make sure that you go beyond the sticks. Not in front of them, but beyond them to pick up a first down.
Mount Union 0 of 5 on third down. They only need 1 this time around. Handoff up the middle. It's a first down for the Purple Raiders. No doubter who is getting the football there.
That's right. Give it to Mr. Everything. When you have a back of his prowess in Echeverry, you certainly want to put him in position to have those opportunities, because you never know. He could pick up 1 yard or he could take it to the house. He has that type of talent. Johns Hopkins defense is not making it easy for him either. They're forcing him to be methodical right now on this drive.
10:15 to go here in the third quarter. Sean Thomas is back there as they operate out of the pistol. The fake, dumps it to Echeverry. He's got room to run. Looking for a block, and he's past midfield.
And what we just witnessed is the beauty of having a dual threat attack. And then if you're balanced, you sell the run. What does the defense have to do? They have to honor that run. But then you sneak out your running back in Echeverry to the flat where no one's there, and he picks up more positive yards.
19 yards. So they had the poor field position to start the drive. They've got it all the way down to the 47-yard line of the Blue Jays. DeShields, here comes the blitz. Throwing the far sideline. Adjusting to make the grab, Tyrell Sanders.
And you feel for the defensive back, Luka Lutzel, on that play, because of the fact that once again, they are a victim of the fade stop, more so due to the wind. Not necessarily sure if that was called in the huddle, but you see DeShields drops back, no fear in throwing the football, and then his receiver comes down with the ball, and Tyrell Sanders, excellent job of adjusting to the football and playing it better than the DBs.
What an adjustment. 30 yards on the catch, all the way down to the 17. They're in the red zone again. Echeverry gets a few on first down.
Yeah, that time he ran to his right tackle, Ben Lilly, who was more so in his way than the would-be Hopkins defender trying to make a play on the ball.
Now at the 8:30 mark here in the third quarter.
Yeah, big Drew Sims, tight end for Mountain Union, comes into the football game. Looks like they're going to go with 12 personnel.
Purple Raiders, 6 completions of at least 15 yards. Second and 8. DeShields fakes it, throws on the left hash. Does he have it?
Cannot tell if that ball hit the ground or not, Henry, because from this angle, it looked like it did touch the ground because he's trying to hurry up, but he's pointing. He being Trey Radford that he caught the football. But right here, let's see.
We'll get a good look.
Trey caught that football. Yes, he did.
And now they will come in to stop the play just to make sure, which, hey, you're in a playoff game, you're in a semifinal, and Mount Union was racing up to the line of scrimmage.
Catch. Previous play is under review.
So just want to make sure that they used all their available resources to take a look. Now, in that first vantage point that we got, it did look like he had that arm underneath supporting that football.
Right, you see the hand underneath and the ball never touches the ground from that vantage point, so excellent catch on the part of Trey Radford. The concentration, one, knowing you're going to get hit, but then having the wherewithal to keep the football stationary and not allowing it to hit the ground. This angle right here expresses it even better. It's great concentration.
That looks like
a catch.
It will stay a catch and another first down. Mount Union has not been afraid to throw the football despite the winds that have been kind of swirling down here today. And we're about to hear the official call from Kenny Johnson.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed for catch.
Well, he knew it, Trey Radford. First time we'd called out his name so far today.
Yeah, he said it was conviction, first down. Now, a lot of times guys will go over there and sell it to the coach, and it's not a catch, but in this case, it actually was.
Trey Radford, the senior out of Twinsburg, his 5th catch of the season. Also has a touchdown, low snap, and that ball, well, thrown to the wrong side.
Yes.
It was dangerous over there. Echeverry incomplete.
Yeah, if you're DeShields, you do not want to lead the running back or any catcher on the inside when you have inside leverage from the defense. You have to put that ball on the outside shoulder or towards the sideline. Very fortunate it wasn't intercepted and ran back for a score.
Cole Peters was right there. And that could have been a huge turn of events. DeShields, 5 of 6 on the drive for 79 yards. And he will waltz into the end zone. Blue Jays had no idea who had the football there. Mount Union makes them pay as they formulate a very impressive drive here in the third quarter after that poor field position.
When you have 27 touchdowns, you make an excellent decoy, and that's exactly what Echeverry was on this play. As DeShields once again shows everyone he's capable of running the football. Very impressive what he's done, not just passing today, but also running as well.
Extra point is up and good, 11 plays. 95 yards, took him 5-11 to do it, but Mount Union forges ahead, and that lead now up to 8.
Immediate timeout.
If you ever wondered what the crew of a football broadcast likes to do in their spare time, well, there was a perfect storm over the last few days. Because did you know that there's a troll museum right here in Alliance, Ohio? 25,000 troll memorabilia items at the Troll Hole Museum on Main Street, right around the corner from here. I think a few of those may have been my sister's from back in the day. I wondered what she ever did with her collection. But there they were. So if you're ever in Alliance, Ohio, you get to see a dominant football team. You also get to see the trolls.
Right, we're not talking social media.
We've got plenty of them on social media. By the way, Guinness Book of World Record.
That's right.
They say they have the most right here. A huge possession coming up, squib kick, and it is handled. Jacob Payan is able to get his arms around that football and make sure nothing crazy happens. But try big possession right now for the Blue Jays.
Yes, it is a make-or-break possession for Hopkins in that do you go with the approach of being vertical with Crotty, or do you say let's settle down and let's run this football and take some time off the clock and put our defense in position so where they can get some rest, because they have been on the football field for a lot of time in this second half.
Now you got to give credit. Blue Jays have moved the football. It's not every day that you can have 260 yards of total offense through 2.5 quarters against Mount Union's defense. And first down went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, one of the few times we'd say that Andrew Rich did not have a healthy game running the football.
You're seeing Von Factor kind of hobble off to the sidelines after that play. Really the leader of their defensive line.
That's a heck of a football name right there. Von Factor.
Ranello with time to throw down the sidelines. And it's incomplete. Was looking for Tellerico. But terrific coverage for Mount Union.
That's right. And for Mount Union, you have a situation where Zach Liebler is in the game, and what does Zach do? Zach makes a heck of a play. Now, he was beat on the coverage, but if it's underthrown, make a play. And he also shows you why he plays DB for a reason, and that DBs aren't known for catching. But great play anyway.
Already 3rd and 10. Not where they want to be, but on 3rd and 10, that is where they do want to be. In the hands of Cole Crotty. Another key 3rd down conversion.
Johns Hopkins offensive line's pass pro has been stellar, and whenever it is stellar, Ranello has all the time in the world. He's not under duress. He's able to stay in that spot in the pocket, and what does he do? He'll find a receiver, and he's been finding Crotty all day long.
That Crotty had to bend back just a little bit and keeps the drive alive. Play action. Down the middle of the field. He's got Crotty. He runs it into the end zone. 59 yards for the score. What an
explosion. That is what the doctor ordered, and there are plenty of them at Johns Hopkins. And you want that type of play on display on the regular, and that's what they are giving us, because that was just, again, across the board. Excellent protection. Nice read on the part of Ranello, saying, okay, let me find my great wide receiver in a situation when he's in one-on-one coverage. And on top of that, you do not want to put a linebacker on Crotty running down the football field. You have to have a defensive back on him as they get ready to go for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, trying to tie things up under center for the first time today, Ranello. And
timeout, Mount Union.
That adjustment will have to be made. Purple Raiders use up a timeout.
Yeah, that's going to cost them. It's a tight game. You want to save those timeouts. I can't say it enough, Anthony. They are being ultra aggressive, and right there they took advantage of the mismatch. You have a situation where Marcus Jackson, he's a linebacker, will linebacker for Mount Union. He's running down the football field with a very speedy Crotty. You take advantage of that, so give credit to Ranello for one, diagnosing it, seeing it, and then executing with an excellent throw.
Well, they have had that connection, not just today, basically all season, and Mount Union just has had no answer. Whether it's been tight coverage or not, they have found a way to get the ball to Crotty. 6 catches, 115 yards, and 2 scores.
Right, and coming into this game, we had a sense from our conversation with the coaches for Johns Hopkins that they were going to be aggressive in passing the football. One would think, though, with the weather and the wind factor in, that would limit the opportunities, but has not been the case. But great job on the part of Cole Crotty of just being very effective and flat out dominant in this football game.
I'm telling you, I saw a lot of fans with blankets. Those are gone. They shed those because things are heating up.
You can feel the heat from the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, big 2-point conversion. Remember, they had missed that extra point right before the half. Under center, Ranello will throw it. Errant pass to Will Leger, and it's incomplete. Looked like some extracurricular after the play. But they fail on the 2-point conversion, so despite the terrific quick strike drive, and what a throw and catch it was, Mount Union still up 2 here in the 3rd. NCAA football championships continue. We're on one side of the bracket, on the other, the race to get to Houston, Texas, Susquehanna, and North Central Illinois coming up later today. Two high-powered offenses and two teams here and two over there trying to vie for a shot at a Division III national championship. This has been a great third quarter so far today.
Explosive. If I'm Mount Union, I go back to the same approach I had the last time I had the football. Be methodic with it. Keep the hands and that offense for Johns Hopkins off the football field and eat up as much clock as you possibly can.
Once again, that ball blown right off the tee. The only difference in this game so far today has been the conversion attempts. One missed extra point and one missed two-point conversion, and that's why it is a 2-point lead right now for the Purple Raiders. Mount Union head coach Jeff Dart, 5th year as the coach of the program. He was an assistant 7 years prior. 5 of those as the offensive coordinator.
50 wins, 0 conference losses.
Not bad. Here's the return. Woo! Darnell Williams, shot out of a cannon.
And Darnell Williams duplicates what he did in the first half in that he picked the right side to run to. There was no one in the coverage lane there, so he takes it to that spot and gives his football team excellent field position on the offensive side of the ball. No one there, and then fortunate enough, the kicker had enough leg speed to force him out of bounds.
Last series, Mount Union started at their own 5 and they went 95 yards. This time around at the 38 is where they will start. What answers will the Blue Jays have defensively?
Yeah, they've made it tough on Mount Union. It certainly has not been easy.
Echeverry. Was waiting for that moment once again, trying to allow things to develop.
I love his running style, Anthony. I love the fact that he waits, he doesn't panic, and once he sees daylight, he explodes, and you see it right there on display.
Oliver Craddock, though, brought him down. So it's a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, you'll always take positive yards on first down.
DeShields, low snap, it's handled. Echeverry met in the backfield, bounces off a tackler, and he's finally brought down at the 49-yard line, but that's enough to move the chains.
And that's what makes him special. He should be tackled for a loss in the backfield. Okay, you have a defensive lineman unable to bring him down. And then once he gets into that second and third level, he just does what he does so well, which is continue to move forward and pick up those yards.
5.3 yards per carry, now up to 85 on the day. Been averaging 111 so far this year. Out of the pistol, DeShields will turn and hand the ball up. Echeverry up the middle, plowing his way down to the 32-yard line.
We have old school football on display. That's just nothing but a power in which you simply say, we're going up the middle, create a hole in space, and that's exactly what that offensive line from Mount Union did against Johns Hopkins' defensive front.
Another 19 yards puts him over 100 on the day. Right now, Blue Jays defense, what can they do to adjust to this? Because they are having a lot of trouble stopping that run.
Best guess would be to, one, play some two-gap technique and mind your gaps because they're having a lot of effect to running plays up the middle.
DeShields will throw, comebacker to Tyrell Sanders. It's complete.
So when I say two-gap, Anthony, what that entails is that you don't just shoot to one area because what Mount Union is doing a good job of is shielding guys off and creating spaces. So when you do the two-gap, then you don't select or guess, you just stay in the hole. It's a very non-aggressive way of playing on the defensive front. You see right here, completion once again by DeShields, connecting with Tyrell Sanders.
Also looked like DeShields took a bit of a hit after throwing that football. 2nd and 1. Hands it off. Sean Thomas breaks the tackle. He's got his blocker, and he explodes through to the touchdown. What a run, Sean Thomas.
This is such a dominant play on multiple levels. One, Johns Hopkins loads the box, and you're saying, okay, we have to stop the run. You don't stop the run. They were still able, that being Mount Union, to put a hat on the hat, and then Sean Thomas breaks a couple tackles and finds himself in the end zone for the score. And there's a lot of traffic there, but you cannot arm tackle these backs from Mount Union. You have to bring them down with your shoulder pads. Arm grabbing will not get the job done for Hopkins defensive unit.
The senior out of Lima Central Catholic, high school teammate of Rossi Moore, the All-American. Looks like Toledo Central Catholic, make that Lima Central Catholic, has been very good to the Purple Raiders program.
Right, this is so disheartening from a defensive perspective in that you load the box on this play. When you load the box, you're supposed to come away with a stop, a loss even. In this case, it led to a touchdown. Nice run in an open field. And then the ability to, again, to not go down on would-be tacklers, but keep his feet in the balance to score.
Now, these have been some extremely impressive drives.
Yeah, imagine that. You get Echeverry running through you, and then you bring Thomas in. He's just as dangerous. And then we haven't really spoke much about Darnell Williams and what he's capable of. As you see Terrell Sanders and Tyler Echeverry, they're just a dynamic duo. These guys get the job done, and they've been prolific on today. And that Johns Hopkins defense, believe me, folks, when I tell you, they are a great defense, but right now that offensive unit for Mount Union is making them look much less than they truly are.
So a 9-point lead, still 3:29 to go. So there's plenty of time for Johns Hopkins, but there's been a lot of pressure for them to have to respond to all these scoring drives.
Well, what they have going for them is they have, that being Mount Union, have not figured out a way to slow down who? One, Cole Crotty.
Now, PJ Scales had to go in the wrong direction to return that football, but he did get it all the way out to the 34.
Yeah, nice job, PJ. But right now with Crotty out there, Mount Union has not figured out a way to take him out of the game and make him not effective. So if you're Johns Hopkins, you have that in your arsenal, that, hey, you have the ability to go chunk play to get right back in this football game.
So what's been impressive for,
be added to the end of the run, first down,
as they assess a 5-yard penalty after the run,
Great field position.
the road win streak for the Blue Jays right now, it's at 12, but that's in jeopardy today.
Certainly is, but what really impresses me is that they've been in very tight football games, so they've been down this path before, and they find ways each week to win.
Ranello rolling out. He'll take an awkward dive, but it's a nice gain on first down.
It certainly is, but Ranello, you have to protect yourself better than that, because landing on that turf, and I know from experience, you can tweak something, you can injure something. So be much more cautious of how you slide into those tackles. But wise decision on his part not to force it and try to throw the football.
Now under the 3-minute mark. They gave him 5. He'll look to throw. Has time. Up top. Connects with Tellerico. Another big explosive play.
And E.J. Tellerico says, let me get in on this Hopkins aerial attack. As Ranello, once again, whenever he has a clean pocket and they diagnose man-to-man coverage, he is being aggressive. And that was an excellent read and catch on the part of him connecting with E.J. Tellerico.
Man, every time it looks like Mount Union is on the verge of maybe putting that distance between them and the Blue Jays, they come up with another response.
Yeah, they're catching them in man coverages and having much success in the process.
Ranello will take it up the middle. There's a seam. Makes the man miss, still on his feet. Finally brought down at the 3-yard line.
And the beauty of having an effective passing game is that it opens up tremendously for the running game. In this case, they're not anticipating a quarterback sneak or a quarterback draw, and that's exactly what Ranello gives them. And Ely's saying to himself, oh my gosh, we got to come up with something. Well, the solution for that is you might want to start playing Robert technique in the middle to slow that down.
Ranello's taken his fair share of shots. They'll go back to the well. Tripped up. Did he get into the end zone? Waiting for the signal. And they give him the touchdown.
And watch this block by one. Jeff Schroeder. Rocking the baby. You can't see it from his angle, but he knocked someone backwards and
can't see the football from this angle.
No, but right there, there's nothing definitive with that.
And that camera not right on the goal line, so this would be tough. Let's take another view.
Yeah, Schroeder with an excellent block as well. Give credit where it's due.
So 4 plays, 63 yards, a touchdown stands. How about that? Minute and 43 with their season maybe kind of teetering, and they waltz right down the football field for the touchdown.
Yeah, well, they have that shot selection, and for Mount Union, you're going to have to do a better job of shoring up on the outside because that is the vulnerability of this defense. Coming into the game, we're aware of that, and obviously, Johns Hopkins offensive game planning diagnosis has said this is where we're going to be aggressive, this is where we're going to get after this football team, this is where they're vulnerable, and they've certainly been that throughout the course of the day. And in this case, having shot capability is much more effective when you're in a shootout, which is what we're in the midst of, which I did not anticipate.
You look at both teams, what they've been able to do, total yards on the ground. And these are terrific defenses.
Right.
Both have been great all year, but when the offense is playing at the level that it is. Here in December, we didn't know, especially with the wind kind of swirling the way it was. But both teams have had no problem putting up points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's the benefit of both these teams playing in cold weather climates, and that they practice in this, so that can help the cause.
Here's Darnell Williams, has had a couple big returns. And this time he's brought down at the 30-yard line. And I think the Blue Jays will take it.
Yes, they will. That's much better than the 38 or the 40 or beyond.
Well, you're kind of waiting to see which team could make a big mistake.
And you're more likely not going to see that because these two teams are where they're at in the semis for a reason, in that they don't beat themselves. Now, the thing for Mount Union is they've had much success being balanced. They can run, they can pass, and I still opt to the idea of take as much time off this clock as you possibly can to keep your defense off the football field.
Blue Jays sideline making some big-time noise. DeShields, oh, he takes a hit as he goes to the ground.
And they were not on the same page right there. So we talk about not making mistakes. DeShields running that football because it was a broken play, not due to design. He's looking for his receiver. The receiver is blocking, thinking it's a run play, when in actuality it's a pass. So that's the type of stuff you have to clean up, and especially in a situation when so much is on the line. Can't afford mental mistakes.
Second down and 7. Under a minute to go here in the third. DeShields again from the gun, looking left. And beautiful catch. Echeverry stays on his feet, walking that tightrope on the sidelines.
Yeah, putting his offense in a down and distance that's certainly manageable by showing you his talent and his exploits to, one, catch the football, which was a difficult catch, and then tightrope in that sideline.
Well, here's another third down and 4.
The crowd's getting involved.
Yeah, we are perched above the Blue Jays sideline, and their fans who have made the trip, they are making some noise. There's the handoff, and he did not get it. Sean Thomas denied.
Ooh. Decisions, decisions, decisions.
Well, that probably is the last play of the third quarter. The offense is still on the football field for Mount Union. And we have 15 minutes of football left to determine our first representative in the D3 National Championship game, the Stag Bowl in Houston. Will it be Mount Union? Will it be Johns Hopkins? Only one way to find out. Don't go anywhere. How about a fourth down to kick things off here in the fourth quarter? D3 semis, Mount Union with the 2-point lead. The run. It's Boudry. Did he get enough? It's a first down, Mount Union, Noah Boudry.
And that is the benefit of having a dual threat quarterback on your sideline. In that Boudry, is he going to run? Is he going to pass? What does that force the defense do? To be cautious and not really dedicate to anything, because if you guess wrong, it could be a touchdown as well. So great job of utilizing your personnel on the part of Mount Union right there and picking up that first down.
He had one package designed for him last week, and then went over Salisbury on the road. So far twice today. The Shields over the middle. That one far too long to Tyrell Sanders.
And that was a case of, if you can do it, I can do it too. And in that case, we have seen that Johns Hopkins offensive unit is doing it much better from a vertical passing game. I would like to see them flatten that route down more so, Anthony, and make it an easier throw for the quarterback, the Shields.
Well, we've had over 780 yards of total offense between these two programs. You see B.J. Hill, defensive coordinator of the Blue Jays, his work cut out for him. They weren't able to get that fourth down stop. So Mount Union has had success on fourth down today. The Shields gives it up. Echeverry spins his way for about 3.
Yeah, they're going to come back to that run because he was a hip tackle away from going for 15 to 20 more yards on that play. So don't be surprised within this drive we see that play come back to us.
All right, sets up another third down. 3rd and 7. Mount Union just 1 of 7.
I didn't think we'd be in 4-down territory this early in the fourth quarter, but we may just be there.
The Shields standing tall. Over the middle, it's caught by Jerry Cooper Jr. They'll mark it at midfield. So here we go again.
Yeah, and the coaching point once again is run beyond the sticks. Don't run in front of the sticks or at the sticks, beyond.
Mount Union a perfect 4 of 4 on fourth down, but no pause in the action this time.
Yeah, give your quarterback a target to where he can pass beyond that to make it an easier first down to pick up instead of being 4th in inches.
The Shields, Echeverry behind him, out of the pistol. Looked like some movement. And that one, disastrous Drew Sims.
5-yard penalty remains, 4th down.
Boy, a tough one there. Knocks him back 5 yards.
And Drew, you're going to have a hard time selling your case on that because you are literally the only person who reacted to the count on that. And that's what he's getting coached up on right now as he speaks to his head coach, Jeff Dart.
All right. Punting unit.
Yeah.
Coming onto the field, so we don't even get a look at the play on fourth down.
And you asked, what would be the issue? Who would make the mistake first? And right now, Mount Union is the one who blinks.
Michael Franklin takes a bounce, and Mount Union going to be able to pin that one back inside the 10-yard line. So they don't get the first down, but they do give their defense some good starting field position. Johns Hopkins has it next. Of course, Mount Union, one of the storied football programs in the entire country. I don't care what level of football, as they have 13 national, and they are a game away for playing for number 14. But a nice first down run for the Blue Jays.
And yet still they have not figured out a way to have rush lanes in which they can keep the quarterback Ranello contained. That's been a problem all game, and they're going to have to figure that out soon sooner rather than later if they hope to keep them out of the end zone.
Sun is out on Blue Jays' side of the field. Schroeder goes up the middle, and it looks like enough to move the chains.
Yeah, Hopkins illustrating some ball control offense, showing that they don't have to just air it out in order to have success so far in this drive.
We're talking about the success of Mount Union. The boy Johns Hopkins, they've had some of their own. 13th playoff appearance all since 2005. That pass nearly picked off. There was big-time pressure on Ranello as he releases the football.
And Rozzie Moore is going to be sick tomorrow when he watches that on tape and says, how in the world did I drop this pass? As Ranello under pressure, and Rozzie Moore dropping in the coverage zone, and right there, you gotta bring that up. That was a game changer right there, potentially for Mount Union.
2nd and 10. Ranello pulls it back, and this time just has to protect the football before he goes down.
Yeah, fortunately enough for Mount Union right there, they were very fortunate because Ranello once again almost broke contain, and the coaching point now is Rozzie Moore, you're going in for the sack. Keep your containment. And they were arguing for a targeting play right there, but he's not going to get it. But you now have a situation for Mount Union where one of your defensive linemen, and Jackson Harris, is on the ground.
All right, we have a injury timeout. We'll have another significant third down play coming up right after this. All right, snow starting to fall here in the 4th quarter. 2-point game, 3rd and 7 for Johns Hopkins. 5 of 9 on 3rd down, but they need number 6 right now in a big way. They'll go out of the gun. Ranello, after taking that shot, will look to throw, but he is dropped. Huge sack on 3rd down. Rozzie Moore bringing the pressure.
Bringing the pressure, and defensive coordinator Darrell Ely brought the house, Anthony, in that he sent inside linebackers on a twist blitz, but more importantly, the man of the hour is Rozzie Moore as he gets to the quarterback. Figured we'd be calling his name more often than not today, but we finally did, and Rozzie came up with an extremely big play for his Mount Union defense.
Looks like Tyler May back at midfield to return.
Say punt safe. Don't even mess with it. Get away from it. Punt safe.
Well, bounce from the 45 over to Mount Union's 45-yard line. Takes a nice roll for the Blue Jays, but some defense. A huge 3rd down stop by the Purple Raiders.
That's right. And Rozzie, he is one of the leaders on this Mount Union defense, and the numbers speak for itself. 35.5 career sacks, 4th in the NCAA Division III among active players, and then 3-time, not 1, 2, but 3-time All-OAC first teamer, and a 2-time AP Division III All-American as well, and the linebacker of the year in 2022. He's done nothing but be prolific throughout the course of his career here at Mount Union.
When you think about Rozzie Moore and Sean Thomas, who had a touchdown in this game, playing on the same high school team. And a nice catch that time. Tyrell Sanders, the senior out of Indianapolis.
Yep, runs the out route to perfection. Why do I say that? Because he picked up a 1st down. Now, you like to have the clock is still moving, so for Mount Union, your thought process has to be, do not allow John Hopkins to have much time remaining if you're able to go down and score.
By total yards, almost even. Blue Jays have an 8-yard edge.
Considering the weather conditions, no one thought this would be the outcome, and the defense is on the field.
Mount Union.
Mount Union
uses their
2nd charge, timeout.
Their 2nd timeout. You just heard our referee, Kenny Johnson. So Mount Union clinging to that 2-point lead.
That timeout for the meeting.
NCAA football championships continue with D3 championships Sunday, January 5th, 8 p.m. It'll look a little different than it looks right now in Alliance. For more info, visit NCAA.com, the home of all 90 NCAA championships. And a nice run coming out of that timeout by Darnell Williams. Have to check on a photographer over there on the sidelines.
Yeah, they appear to be okay, and that's exactly what you want to do for Mount Union in that. Get your fast, speedy guy, gadget play man on the football field and see what he can do to pick up positive yards. And he's done this throughout the course of the day, that being Darnell Williams, picked up those positive yards.
All right, now she was all smiles getting up.
Yeah, she's good.
So I think she's okay.
She'll feel in the morning, though.
By the way, snow now starting to come down even more. We've lost our sunshine. They did say it's the shortest day of the year on the calendar. First day of winter.
Winter solstice.
And I don't know if we'll be seeing the sun again the rest of today.
It's still peeking out, but it's about to be covered up in a matter of seconds.
Around these parts might be the last time you see the sun for maybe a month and a half.
Yeah, if not two. But it is starting to come down.
Yeah, you think about the Blue Jays, if they get the ball back and they can keep this a one-possession football game, you see the elements they're going to have to be faced with.
Right, and they'll be throwing into the wind, and it is coming down right now with the snow.
The Shields, far sideline. Tyrell Sanders, that ball dislodged. Again, skying up to try to make the grab, but this time could not.
And once again, 5 yards. You don't need a 10-yard play. P.J. Penders makes the play there, but you don't need a 10-yarder. Go for 5.
And stops the clock.
On top of that, no need to be greedy right here. I think the idea should be to keep Hopkins' offense on the sideline as long as you possibly can and just be methodical once again with this drive.
Now, if I would have told you Mount Union would go 1 for 8 from third down, you'd probably think they were trailing in this game. Well, that's what they're at. It's 3rd and 10. They have a 2-point lead to Shields. Staying in that pocket. And Sanders able to find the opening, just too much time.
Clean pocket. He had all day and then some to throw that football. So give credit where it's due with this offensive line. He surveys the entire football field and ultimately finds Sanders wide open, who does a pretty good job of finding the open space to where the defenders are not. And the Shields showing you he's a very accurate thrower with that pass and connecting with Sanders.
So only the second down, third down conversion, but it was a big one. Jerry Cooper Jr. A wrestling match inside the 8-yard line.
Very physical play on both parts for these two football teams. Hopkins run into the football corral and not able to get him behind the line of scrimmage, which is what they wanted to do. But give credit to Cooper for keeping his feet and, more importantly, holding on to that football, because the coaching point right now for Hopkins is strip the football, get the football back. We need it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Looking at B.J. Hill, defensive coordinator, trying to figure out how do the Blue Jays get the stop they so desperately need. They certainly can't give up 7. Echeverry sweeping through, taking the hit, and it's a touchdown. Purple Raiders go up another score.
And we gave you a heads up earlier that they would come back to that inside run play, and it's been so effective for Mount Union today, in that you just have no answer for Echeverry, in that he has done more on the ground than, typically speaking, what Hopkins does not give up as far as a running game is concerned. And here you have it, just the ability to run through tacklers and to keep his balance and feet. And that looks clean to me, like he scored.
That extra point is good, capping off the 7-play, 55-yard drive. And now, Mount Union starting to feel it. In command here in the 4th quarter.
Make the guy in the backfield miss, and that right there should have been a tackle for a loss, but he's a special running back, and he does not go down on initial contact, and then he has the wherewithal to keep his balance, to extend his body in for that touchdown.
Certainly has looked the part of a first-team All-American.
Now that's 28 on the year. That being touchdowns. For one, Tyler Echeverry.
And so part of the math that comes into play here is we're looking at a 9-point ball game, but should only be 7. But they were chasing after the missed extra point, and so the Blue Jays had to go for 2. They didn't convert, and that's why right now it's more than a one-possession game. What a game, though, by Tyler Echeverry.
Yes, 20 rushes for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's just been dominant throughout the course of this game. Very few times today have we seen him tackle behind the line of scrimmage and not picking up positive yards.
We're starting to have a little more fun right now on that Mount Union sideline.
Still a lot of time left for Johns Hopkins.
Tallarico swore.
That doesn't help the cause, though.
Special teams has been a difference maker.
Complimentary football. All 3 phases have to show up and show out. And as you just said, Anthony, Johns Hopkins is chasing that missed extra point in the first half. And right there on special teams, that's poor field position. Probably the worst starting point that we've seen today off of a kickoff. And now you have to find yourself going 80+ to try to score. But they do have one advantage, and that is that they can go aerial, but they will be cutting through a very tough wind.
Well, we'll see if they're looking for number 10, as Cole Crotty has had himself a semifinal game for the ages. Speaking of, a first down connection.
Yeah, they have a quick score capability, so that's why if I'm Johns Hopkins, I'm not panicking. You just need to get the football back and increase your level of possessions, and you need to score fast here.
All right, got 8 on first down. But under 6:30 to go, Blue Jays will start to work a little quicker. Over the middle, wide open, Will Leger! Busted loose to the 32-yard line.
We don't make this stuff up, folks. They've had no answer for this vertical passing game. And what's even more impressive for Johns Hopkins is the fact that they're doing this with a 20 to 30 mile per hour wind that they're going through. But Leger has been big play Leger all day in previous games as well.
47 yards.
Gotta get rid of the football.
But the sack, Marcus Jackson among others, to stymie that momentum.
Yeah, you try to run a double move play right there, and that requires a lot of time, but to the credit of Mount Union, they brought the pressure, and the pressure got there. Get rid of the football. I know you want to hit Crotty on that double move play, but it wasn't simply there due to timing and the protection, more importantly.
Really slowed him down now. Under 5:30 to go. And 2nd and 18. Ranello. Left side, Leger again at the original line of scrimmage. Boy, he is hard to bring down. He's somehow
back,
somehow with the nice gain gives it a manageable situation on 3rd down.
Yeah, for Johns Hopkins, I'm thinking more, okay, run some guys vertically just for the sake of threatening the end zone. But more importantly, have someone beyond the sticks to try to pick up this first down.
So got 12 on that connection. So it's 3rd and 6. 4:49.
They bring the house.
Incomplete to Crotty. Looked like the timing was off.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly why you blitz. You want to throw off the timing, and you want to get the quarterback off the spot. One of those two things have to happen in order for you to have a defensively successful blitz play, and that's exactly what took place there. So this play right here is going to be pivotal.
4th down and 6. Ranello, a career high, 318 yards, but he needs at least 6 more.
For Hopkins, guard the sticks and watch for that end zone.
6 on the play clock. It is blown dead. A timeout, Mount Union.
And Ranello is upset because he had the coverage that he wanted.
That's their 3rd and final timeout.
And most likely why we saw a timeout by the Purple Raiders. They must have seen it too.
I'm saying to myself, why are you guys in a bunch formation man coverage right now? They've exploited you all day with that. So yes, whenever you see a quarterback jumping up and down in disgust because a timeout was called, he had the exact coverage that he wanted on that play.
Don't forget another semifinal coming up today. Susquehanna at North Central Illinois. Another ticket, the 2nd and final ticket to be punched for Houston and the Stag Bowl. Boy, gutsy drive here so far. from the Blue Jays. You can see on the screen now how the elements are impacting the game, but yet Ranello, a career high in passing yardage.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. We can't say enough about James Ranello. The fact that, one, he stayed at Johns Hopkins the entirety of his football career, when you see that he has certainly a skill set to go to other places and play, is a testament of his wherewithal and who he is and his character to begin with. But he finds himself right now in a tight spot. But he has come through in the clutch throughout the course of his day, so I will not doubt the man because he has been special.
Here it is, 4th and 6. Mount Union has to find Cole Crotty. They bring the blitz again, up the middle. Ball is loose. And it'll be a turnover on downs. Huge defensive play by the Purple Raider defense.
Great call on the part of Darrell Ely, because earlier he ran a blitz in which he had the linebacker stunning from the outside, and due to a great play on the part of one Rossi Moore, they were able to get to the quarterback. This time, they shot up the A-gaps, and that's the best way to get a quarterback off his spot and put pressure in his face, and that's exactly what they did on that play. Excellent defense on the part of Mount Union, and that more than likely crushes Johns Hopkins' opportunity to get back in this football game.
Boy, they have dialed up a couple of blitzes when it is really counted and just swarming with no chance.
Yeah, Von Factor on that stunt right there, coming right up the middle.
Low snap again. Echeverry up the middle for about 4.
And I got a feeling you're going to see a lot of Echeverry for the remainder of this football game.
Timeout, Johns Hopkins. First charge,
So Blue Jays
timeout.
will use their first of 3 timeouts. They will also have that 2-minute timeout for another stoppage. So they can really only stop it 3 more times the rest of the way. And now because they use the timeout there, you really feel like if Mount Union gets 1 first down, that'll pretty much do it.
Yeah, it's getting to that point in place, and for Johns Hopkins defensive front, an entire unit, right now you have to be thinking to yourself, make sure you tackle, but in the process, have that second or third man come and strip the ball and start poking at it and trying to get it out of the arms of the receivers and runners for Mount Union. But make sure you tackle first, because as we know, these guys are special and they can break tackles and take it to the house. We've seen it on multiple occasions today for Mount Union.
You see the fans on that Mount Union side, the faithful, certainly used to having big semifinal games in the weather. Echeverry breaking loose down the sidelines. Can he get to the end zone? He does! 54 yards, sending Mount Union to another Stag Bowl.
It's fair to put an exclamation point on that, Anthony. We said earlier, make sure you tackle. He can take it to the house. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's now 9 touchdowns on the year on the part of Echeverry. And this is just great running, great blocking, but more so than anything, just showing you his sheer talent of being one of the fastest guys on the football field and kicking into another gear on the part of one, Tyler Echeverry.
What an incredible run, truly capping off what has been an incredible season. How does he turn this into a touchdown?
It's really simple, Anthony. He's faster than everybody else on the football field, and he has great vision and great balance, because most people will fall down right there, but not Echeverry. He keeps going. But look at the blocking. Hat on the hat, receivers getting involved, getting in the way, and then he just simply outruns P.J. Penders, cornerback for Johns Hopkins defense.
Boy, look at the reaction in the coaching booth.
Rightfully so. Be fired up. A heck of a call.
Obviously, the huge run there, but he has had some major carries and distance traveled so far this year. Touchdown runs at 51, 51, 52, 65, 91, in addition to what you just saw there.
Right, and think about this. Johns Hopkins comes into this game only surrendering like 85.46 yards per game. And he's he's doubled that in just one game. 22 rushes, 174 yards, and 3 touchdowns and counting.
You know, so much is made these days about players coming up from the south to play in the weather of the north. Echeverry, the senior out of Naples, Florida.
Well, he's been here a few years now. It's in his blood. It takes about 3 or 4 years to adjust to it. You're absolutely right. How's a guy from Florida find his way in Alliance, Ohio, but he's here and they're happy for it. So I imagine right now in Naples, it's probably, what, 75 degrees? And
Pretty much every time I check, yes.
And we're looking at potential whiteout conditions. It is coming down. As a matter of fact, it's starting to come into the booth.
And obviously, inopportune time for the Blue Jays, who throughout this entire game, up until really 6 minutes ago, they have been going toe to toe with Mount Union, matching them. Really, it was just a 2-point game because of the special teams.
That is the issue. That missing of that extra point factors into so much. Because you were going toe to toe, you were going back and forth, but chasing those points made you do some things that are not customary and put Union in a spot where they're always going to remain ahead.
They got a catch there on a Robbie Enright. 2nd and 5. This ball just sailed over the arms of Leger, who had a step.
And again, folks, it's not flurry now. It is coming down. Snowflakes are everywhere. It's starting to accumulate on the football field.
Third and 5. Hard to believe this game was a 2-point game. Mount Union has blown it open here in the 4th. That ball dumped off to Cole Crotty. He's going down the sidelines. Another big play by Crotty before he's finally driven out of bounds.
Yeah, Brandon Jensen's on the stop. And at some point, Mount Union's going to have to not put Marcus Jackson one-on-one with Cole Crotty, because Cole Crotty is going to win that matchup because simply put, he's faster than the linebacker.
Wait, 45 yards. These guys have not quit at all. Blue Jays actually have 2 more total yards on the day, 506.
Woo,
that
touchdown.
Tellerico! Sensational throw and catch. Blue Jays not giving up.
No, they're not. Tellerico catches at the highest point, shows great body control, and coming back and turning his body into the defender and coming down with the pass for the score. And Ranello throws it up, says, my man is better than yours. And unfortunately for Zach Liebler, he's on the losing end of that play.
Well, they needed to score quickly.
They did that.
And 4 plays, 75 yards in just 56 seconds. They will line up for 2. Ranello under center, hits Leger, who walks it into the end zone.
Nice play design right there, making a shorter run as well as catch. Letting that big body Leger ease his way into the end zone.
Well, a bit of an interesting development.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling there's going to be an onside kick involved in this.
As it has been quickly cut to an 8-point game, a 1-possession contest. So they have the 2 timeouts. They have the 2-minute timeout as well.
Yeah, and the question becomes, do you go with the onside? Well, let me ask you this. Have they been able to stop Mount Union's offense in the second half?
No, they have not.
The answer is no.
It sounds like your mind is made up.
Yes, it is. I'll take my chances with that. Now, to the credit of this defense for Johns Hopkins, they have been stellar throughout the course of the season, and they're used to being in tough positions, and they've come through in the clutch. So you do have options here, but if it were left up to me, I need to get the football back in my offense's hands.
Well, you could have some real fun second guessing in a game like this.
Well, I guarantee you, Mount Union's put their hands team out there. Yeah. They're anticipating it.
Yeah, how hard is it going to be to handle that football?
Yeah. It's like an onside kick to me.
They're going to put it on the tee once again.
We're playing back and
Here we
forth
go.
here.
Will not need a holder this time.
I guess not. They're pretty balanced here. Let's see what they do.
Little stutter step and
Nice
a
bounce.
shimmy.
Oh, it was there. You got to lift your head up.
It got the perfect onside kick bounce. But the Blue Jays could not secure the football.
The opportunity was there. You had the perfect bounce. You see right here. You want that bounce. There it is. Get the football. You're worrying about blocking people in your footing. Get the ball. What are we doing? Or what are you doing better yet? Adam Rich, you have to do a better job than that, my man. Or Ivan Marks. Excuse me, Andrew Rich, you have to do a better job. That was your opportunity right there.
Well, they still have the ability if they can hold him to 3 and out. But that's basically what it needs to be at this point. 1st and 10. Echeverry met the backfield and dropped. Jackson Harris, the first man to hit him.
Timeout. Johns Hopkins.
And
second charge timeout.
Hopkins will call timeout. They still have one more. And again, they can stop it at the 2-minute timeout. And you've seen nobody has been better in football at this level in the one-possession game.
The 3:20, please. 3:20.
So Hopkins, no strangers. They're 6-0.
Thank you.
No, they do not panic in these
games.
scenarios, so you are impressed with that. And they're going to need all that composure and poise right now to get this football back. Man, end of game defense, multiple games in which they're winning by 1 possession. And look at the amount of time left on the clock. So these are all clutch moments. So this is the benefit of going through a season in which you are dealing with adversity and you've been tested. So when you're in moments like this, you don't panic and you don't fall apart. And to their credit, they have not done that.
Yeah, last week against Mary Hardin Baylor, they got a big sack in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, go back to Grove City. Field goal situation where it bounces off the uprights and they find themselves winning the football game.
And think about how crazy this is. Echeverry gets all the way to the end zone.
You think it's over,
The
right?
game is over.
You think.
But you know what happens? You start second guessing, and if somehow, some way, Blue Jays get the ball back, we're going to be wondering if Echeverry should have gone down.
That's a great point. Great point.
But it is second guessing because nobody was saying that at the time.
We were definitely hooting and hollering in here, that's for sure.
All right. He'll keep it. He slides, so short of the markers. Still looks like he's going to have about 4 more to go.
And neither team has really adjusted to that quarterback run today. That's been such a successful play for both offenses. Johns Hopkins as well as Mount Union.
So the last timeout for Hopkins of their 3 is used. And the 2-minute timeout is all they'll have left to try to stop it. They'll tack on another second. I got to give the officials credit. We've heard them really doing a good job of keeping track of time, making sure to get that right. It is the semifinals after all.
Right, best cruiser out there. And they've done a good job of just letting the guys play today, too, and not taking over the football game and dominating it with the yellow flags being on the turf. Or is that a testament to the fact that you have 2 really good football teams in the semifinals as well?
How aggressive do you get right now if you are a Blue Jay?
You have so many options, Anthony. You have one of the best backs in the league in the backfield. You can hand it off to him, or you continue to do the quarterback runs. They've worked all day.
Echeverry, he's met right at the marker. And he is marked shy.
Yeah.
So decisions.
Oh, you're going for it.
You're saying not much of one.
Not at all. You're definitely going for it.
Well, they're at the 39-yard line. 2:50. The clock continues to tick. We are over 1,000 yards of total offense between these two teams. Here it is, 4th and 1. Again out of the gun. Handoff. Echeverry chugging along and a first down. And that should just about do it.
And give credit to TJ DeShields. That was a low snap, and he handled it like he was a shortstop. See right there, it doesn't throw off the timing of the run, but it should have been a loss when you think about the fact that he had to adjust his body, but he kept his calm, cool, and was collected and composure, and gives it off to one of the most prolific running backs in D3. And you're right, Anthony, this more than likely puts the icing on the cake for Mount Union.
Well, the Purple Raiders will try to seal the deal and clinch their spot in Houston after this. Final 2 minutes here in Alliance at Karas Stadium. Of course, named after the legend who was no stranger to semifinals and Stag Bowl appearances and Division III national championships.
That is truly an understatement. Larry Karas is a legend. It has to be exciting for him to see the continuation of his program, because a lot of times we have such a preeminent figure in the program and he leaves. The success leaves with him, but it has not been the case for Mount Union. They have found a way to remain extremely successful in Division III football.
Well, as a program, what a powerhouse. I don't care what level, I don't even care what sport we are talking about.
Yes.
You win 13 national championships, then you have done something absolutely special, and the tradition lives on. Of course, Jeff Dart was able to get there in 2022, and now getting a chance to go back and get his first national championship. Meanwhile, Johns Hopkins, no shame at what they were able to do today. I mean, on paper, this game was deadlocked.
Yes, very impressed with what I've seen today out of Johns Hopkins, in that they found a way to be extremely successful in conditions for passing the football that are poor, but they were extremely on point, and I do believe chasing that one extra point really threw them off track and didn't allow them to completely operate the way they wanted to. But they should not hang their heads down, because they flat out had a phenomenal season, and look for them to do more damage in the future.
Well, there it is, a final play here in the first of two D3 semifinals. The Purple Raiders are heading back to the Stag Bowl for the first time since 2022, defeating Johns Hopkins here at home 45-37. An incredible offensive display, especially considering the elements. Here in Alliance, we had a lot of snow to deal with in the fourth quarter. Both teams going back and forth, but in the end, Mount Union is heading back.
Yeah, and think about it. Coming into this game, we talked about the prowess of the defense and how dominant they were, but it was not the case today. It was all offense, and you can't say it enough. In poor weather conditions, you don't expect the passing game to be prolific, but it certainly was the case today.
6th Stag Bowl appearance in the last 10 seasons. It'll be number 23 overall for Mount Union, as some of the players, the Purple Raiders, motioning over to the crowd.
And Anthony, what you appreciate about what you just said is the fact that they haven't taken it for granted. One of those things where you can rest on your laurels and you can get comfortable with, well, we've done that before, but that's not the case here. There's a standard here that they live up to, and what you have to understand is it's hard to be great. It's not an easy endeavor. And to their credit, they're upholding that standard, and they're year in and year out dominating on this level of football. It is so impressive what they do, but I can't say it enough as I look at Johns Hopkins huddle and these guys talk to each other, that you could tell that was a special unit in how they performed today, and that they had a phenomenal season. They had a hiccup early on in the season against Salisbury, but they never let that hold them back. They kept on moving, and they found themselves in the semifinals, and they should be proud of that.
Yeah, their 10-game win streak has been incredible, but it has come to an end in a brutal place to try to get a victory here at Karas Stadium in Alliance, where they're celebrating yet another march to the Stag Bowl. Just absolutely incredible for them, another opportunity. So we're very excited to get a chance to talk to Mount Union head coach in his 5th year and going back to the Stag Bowl, Jeff Dart. How does that feel, getting another chance to play for a national championship and what would be the first for you, and quite possibly another one, number 14 for this storied program?
Yeah, really, really excited about, having the opportunity to go down to Houston. But, our players, they're so resilient, played great today, and our coaches put together a great plan, and these guys executed. So we just beat a fantastic Johns Hopkins team. A lot of credit goes to them, but what a football game. I mean, when the snow was coming down there kind of in the 4th quarter, what a scene. But yeah, we're excited, and we'll be ready.
And Coach, considering the defense is involved in this football game, and along with the weather conditions, did you think this was going to be an offensive shootout?
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, obviously their front is really good from a defensive perspective. We thought we could find some things in the run game, and the offensive line played outstanding. We could have got a couple more stops on defense, but at the end of the day, we got it done when we needed to.
Could you, Coach, talk about the unbelievable performance in the semis? Tyler Echeverry, the All-American, certainly looked the part today.
No, he did. He did. He's our guy. We go to him. He's got a lot of trust in his offensive linemen, and we created some explosive runs for him. But then TJ did a great job too in the pass game. I think we were, more than capable of probably a couple more passes, getting completed. But I thought we played complementary football on offense, both run and pass.
And then speaking about TJ, Coach, very surprised how much you guys utilized him today in the running of the football. He was very effective. Was that something that you were planning on utilizing and just saying, okay, if they're not going to stop it, we're going to continue to run it?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of cover one from them, and sometimes they don't have a quarterback player, and TJ is really poised in terms of reading it correctly. And, he pulled one down and scored on the touchdown. Probably could have on the play before, but the number 3 for them made a great play. But yeah, he played good. He's been playing excellent, and the guys love him.
Well, hopefully, Coach, you can find some shelter and enjoy, do some scouting of the semifinals coming up, because you're going to have another chance to play for a national championship. It's got to feel really, really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Go Raiders.
All right, there he is, Jeff Dart, in his 5th year, looking for that first ever national championship. It is the standard here, Gerard. It's what they talk about. It's what is expected here, and now they have a chance to cap off a phenomenal season.
Exactly. You can't say it enough. It may be the expectation, but having it carry out and carry through, so much work is involved in playing at this level of excellency involved, and they certainly once again have shown you why this is the standard, not just for Division III football, but across the nation in regards to how you play football consistently at a high level.
Well, what a spectacle it was over the last 3+ hours. Over 1,000 yards of total offense and a 45-37 win. Mount Union advances as they're able to get it done against the very pesky Johns Hopkins Blue Jays. For Gerard Cherry, I'm Anthony Lima. For the crew and everybody back, we send it to ESPN. The semifinals coming up next. You've been watching Championship Football on ESPN.